Hey everyone, welcome back to my Makeup Collection Monday series where I share with you guys all of the makeup that I'm going to be using throughout the week. So this week I tried to stick with a Maybelline theme just because I have so much of their products. Now I will say when I'm starting out with primers, I did just use the Maybelline Baby Skin Pore Eraser Primer last week, so I decided to switch it up. So for my primer, I'm just going to be using my Clinique Pep Start Hydroblur Moisturizer. And I really do love this stuff. It moisturizes my face, it mattifies, it fills in my fine lines and pores. I love it, I love it. It's definitely worth the money because you get so much product in here. So definitely a big bang for your buck on that. For eyeshadow primer, I probably don't even need to mention it. Milani eyeshadow primer. Holy grail right here. As far as eyes go, I don't have a eyeshadow palette or any single eyeshadows from Maybelline, except I do have a couple of these Color Tattoo 24-hour concentrated crayons. I have this one in the shade Barely Beige that I'm going to use, and I'm actually going to try to swatch a little bit for you guys this week since I didn't last week. That's what this one looks like. So it's just a really pretty gold champagne kind of color. For my actual eyeshadows this week, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. This is probably their best known palette. It has lots of beautiful warm tones in it. I'll swatch a couple for you. I'll swatch this kind of duochrome one and this champagne one and maybe this kind of taupey brown, since those two are probably going to be the ones I use the most. So there they are right there. You can see that one on the bottom here is that duochrome where it's kind of like teal and dark red at the same time, and then these two are much more neutral shades, so I can just throw these all over the lid into the crease and I'm out the door. So these are really nice for those quick mornings when you have to get ready in a hurry. Alright, as always, I'm using the NYX Dark Circle Corrector in the shade Light. I showed you guys this last week because I use it every week. I don't use it necessarily every day, but on the mornings when I can take the time to, or my under eyes are just really super dark, I'll use this to correct that darkness. And then for foundation, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Matte and Poreless Foundation. I have mine in the shade 120 Classic Ivory. This is a wonderful foundation. It's medium to full coverage. It looks so skin-like. It says matte, but I think it's perfect for dry skin or combination skin. If you're really oily, I think this will still be okay, but you probably will have to blot throughout the day or touch up with powder because it definitely does still let my natural oils kind of seep through. So if you're totally against that and you're pretty oily skinned, I wouldn't recommend this one. But it has such a skin-like effect and it looks so beautiful on the skin. So definitely love this. Have loved this for a really long time. Then for concealer, I'm also using two from the Fit Me line. I have them in the shade Sand, which is up on top, and then Fair. Sand is like a color that matches my skin tone exactly, so on a day that I'm not wearing any makeup, I can just throw this on under my eyes and it just conceals a little bit. It doesn't do any brightening. And then Fair is what I'll wear like on top of the foundation, or if I do want to add some brightening. I love these concealers. They are also medium to full coverage. They look super skin-like. They are slightly dewy. They're definitely not matte by any means, so I would recommend setting these with a powder just so that they last a little bit longer throughout the day, but definitely love these. Super affordable. Everything in Maybelline's Fit Me line is super affordable and I highly recommend them. And then as far as powder goes, I'm using two. I'm going to try out the Fit Me loose powder that they just released. I got mine in the shade 10 Fair Light. I think this is either the lightest shade they have or the second to lightest shade that they have. So going to be testing that one out. I'll let you guys know how I feel about it. I'll probably use it in an upcoming like Get Ready With Me or something like that. And then I'm also using the Maybelline Better Skin powder. I have talked about this before. I think it has a really good coverage to it. You can use this all over the face without any liquid foundation if you want just a little bit of coverage, or if you want to amp up the coverage of your liquid foundation, you can put this all over too. This is a brand new one. I've had one in the past, but this shade is a little bit too dark for me. I wish I would have gotten the lightest shade. This is 120 or just 20 Classic Ivory, so it's supposed to match the foundation shade that I'm wearing, but this is a little bit more pinky orangey tone, so next time I buy this, I'll definitely get the shade up. Alright, now I don't have like a contour or a bronzer from Maybelline. I know they do sell some, but I just don't have any, so I'm using this Physicians Formula Bronze Booster. It's kind of like a contour trio. You get a setting powder, a contour, and a bronzer. Really, really love these. The quality is really awesome on these, so I'm going to use this to bronze and this shade here to contour this week. I might use this brightening shade underneath my eye underneath my eyes, but I'll probably end up using that Fit Me Loose powder to bake with, so I might not use that this week. And then for blush, I have two options. I have a cream one. This is the Maybelline Master Glaze by Face Studio in the shade Just Pinched Pink. I've talked about this before. Really love this. Super easy to just kind of throw on, and it blends into the skin really easily. It's kind of a more warm toned peachy pink color. There it is right there. It comes off pretty pigmented, but it kind of blends away to a really soft, focused kind of look, so don't be intimidated by that bright color. And then I also recently got the Maybelline Fit Me blushes that they just released, and this one is in the shade Plum. So this one's a little bit more cool tone. These do not feel the absolute best. There's that color. So you can see it's a little bit more mauve, more cool toned than this color. So depending on what eye look I'm going for that day or what lip color I'm wearing will depend on which blush I use. And then for highlight, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Masterchrome highlighter. Talked about this in my top drugstore highlighter favorites. Love this stuff. It's very gold toned, so I can't use it for much longer. Probably once I get a little bit more fair, I'm not going to be able to use this anymore, but for right now, definitely love it. To set in my makeup, I'm using the Maybelline MasterFix by Face Studio Wear Boosting Setting Spray. This I've had for quite a while, probably at least a year. There's just, I don't know if you can hear it, there's just a tiny bit left in there. I don't even know if I'll make it through the week with the rest of this, but I'm just going to use it up. It is a decent setting spray, not the best I've ever tried. It does kind of prolong my makeup, but I mean, it's nothing special to me. So for brows, I'm still testing out my Anastasia Dipbrow Pomade that I mentioned last week, so I can't give you guys a full review on this yet. It's a little bit more liquidy than the e.l.f. one that I had been using, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. But I do like it. Is it my favorite thing ever? No, I actually like the e.l.f. one a little bit more, I think, but we'll see if this one dries out over time. It might make it a little bit easier to apply, I'm not sure. And then I'm also going to use my Maybelline Define and Fill Brow Pencil. It has the pencil on one side and then like a powder on the other side. I know I used that last week, but since I was trying to pick Maybelline makeup, I wanted to use that again. And then I'm using this clear Maybelline Great Lash Mascara to set my eyebrows. I love this stuff, and I'll talk about it a little bit more in my brow routine video that's going to be going up later this week, so make sure you stay tuned to watch that one. But I do talk about, I've loved this one for setting my brows in place for a really long time. For mascara, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Colossal Big Shot Mascara. Now, I don't know if they're discontinuing it, but my Walmart had all of the Big Shot mascaras on sale. I'm not sure why that is, because it's a fairly recent launch at the drugstore. I talked about this in my mascara declutter. I didn't get rid of it, but it's definitely not my favorite mascara in the world. There's what the brush looks like. It's just your average kind of thin brush. It has natural bristle hairs on it, so nothing too special. It doesn't do a lot for my lashes, but I'm going to be using that up this week probably. And then onto my lips. So I'm using all Maybelline stuff. And I have two baby lips here. I have one that's kind of a color changing formula supposedly, and then I have one of the baby lips Dr. Rescues that have the mentholatum menthol kind of scent to them. So I love both of those. And then I have the Maybelline Color Jolt in the shade Strip Down, which I wore in my Ipsy versus Sephora video. I think that's when it was. It's just a really pretty kind of nude. It has a gloss to it. It's fairly long lasting actually, and you can kind of blot it and it turns into more of like a cream formula, so I really like that one. I also have my Maybelline Touch of Spice lipstick. This is one of the cream matte formulas, so it's a little bit more deep and a little bit more rosy than the Stripped Down Color Jolt. And then I also have one of the Vivid Matte Liquids. This one is in the shade Gray Envy, and it is even more cool toned. This one is a color dupe for the NARS Velvet Lip Glide in the shade Bound, which is really popular. So if you want to try that one, go out and get this one first. It wears almost the exact same. Even the formula is pretty similar to the NARS one. But yeah, the color is definitely almost a dead-on dupe. So. And then I had this in my collection last week that I was using, but I'm going to use it again since I am using Maybelline stuff. This is the Superstay Matte Ink, liquid lipstick in the shade Loyalist. There it is right there. So I have basically all different shades of nudes this week. This one does dry down all the way matte. That's the only one I'm using that does that. And then as far as tools go for application, I'm using the good old Beauty Blender this week, just my original Beauty Blender. Haven't whipped this out in a while, so going to be using that. Love these. Do I think they're worth the money? Totally. Do I think there are some that are just as good? Yes, but I think everyone should try this at least once. Alright, you guys, so that is all the makeup that I'm going to be using this week. Make sure to check the description box down below for a full list of all the products that I'm going to be using and what shades I'm using them in case I didn't mention them or something in the video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!